So I decided to do a video on Albert Einstein, and this is because he was born on Pi Day, which was today. So even though it's late, I decided I would just do a video celebrating his life and his achievements. So, alright. Celebrating the life and contributions of a genius. This video will be celebrating the life of a very famous genius and one of my heroes, Albert Einstein. The reason I am doing this video today is because he was born on Pi Day, 138 years ago, on March 14th, 1879. Albert Einstein was arguably the most influential and definitely the most famous scientist of the 20th century. His work in physics not only put physics up on higher and higher pedestals, but some of his work even helps us today in everyday life. Not only that, but Einstein was also a war hero, one of my heroes, a husband, an outspoken pacifist, an inspirational character, and he had a very interesting and charismatic personality. So, some of his achievements include winning a Nobel Prize, the two theories of both general and special relativity, and Einstein-Rosen bridges. He was also a man that determined that light consists of little tiny subatomic particles, which have no mass, that he called photons. He even made advancements to the theory of Brownian motion and determined the very famous equation E equals mc squared. He won the Nobel Prize in 1921 for physics as a result of his discovery of the photoelectric effect. The photoelectric effect is basically what is used by scientists today to explain the emission of electrons from the surface of a source, generally a metal, in response to a source of light. So it explains, how the heck that happens, like what happens when you have a surface, especially usually a metal, and then you shine a light source on it. So it is applied today for many different reasons. It is applied in elevators, televisions, and solar-powered energy, among many others. So without general relativity, though, physicists would not understand gravity as well, and without special relativity, physicists would not understand motion, especially extreme motion, at the level they do today either. Not only that, but a very interesting fact about general relativity is that it's actually helping many people right now. That's because general relativity actually must be applied to the Global Positioning System, or GPS, in order for it to work properly. This is because up in space, the Earth's gravity is pulling the systems toward it, and because of the Earth's enormous size, the time the clocks experience actually vary by a very small amount of time, and each clock actually usually gains about a third of a billionth of a second every day. So, even though that's a tiny difference, the scientists must correct the system, and if it didn't, well then every GPS device on the planet would actually go out by about 6 miles, each day. I find that to be very interesting and profound all at the same time. And even kind of funny. 6 miles, that's kind of interesting. So essentially what these two theories realize is that if you were next to a very massive object or going at a very fast velocity, then time changes for you. So Einstein-Rosen bridges were proposed by Albert Einstein and his physics colleague Nathan Rosen in the year of 1935. So Einstein-Rosen bridges today are more commonly known as wormholes. A wormhole is defined as a hypothetical connection between widely separated regions of space-time. So, Einstein even did work that many of us would consider to be some pretty cool science fiction. And we know this because the equations of his general relativity, which are obviously way too complicated for me to explain, but they produce them as solutions. So theoretically, though, we could even potentially use these bridges as time machines someday, which is obviously pretty cool. So in 1910, he answered the very simple but interesting question, why is the sky blue? That sounds like a wicked childish question, but it's actually very important for science, though, answering that question. And he was one of the men that helped to do that. So, also, he published that question in one of his papers. And so, in the 1930s, though, in the early 1930s, although he did not include that the rate of expansion of the universe is getting greater and greater, meaning it's accelerating, he did help to recognize that the universe is getting larger with the help of famous Dutch mathematician and scientist William D. Sitter. So today, not only do we know that the universe is expanding, but we know the rate of expansion is accelerating too. And we can even get an idea of by how much. So, one final achievement of this physics god was just how much he influenced and still does today the world of everybody who is either aspiring in math and physics, or even people who are just interested in those things. So today, on March 14th, Pi Day, 2017, let's please just remember what a brilliant, amazing, and influential guy Einstein was, and how he was very important to science. And let's, if possible, learn about his life and his contributions, and, just understand that he was very important. So, thank you.